Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut is not exactly the film that yells out Christmas to anyone. It is a film over the last few years that has built a interesting following, especially within the festive kind of context, and really is becoming a alternative Christmas classic, if you will. And whether it's not It's a Wonderful Life or Jingle All the Way, it actually has more of a festive message than you actually think. And over the last few years, I've been contemplating this a lot more, and to really understand the kind of festive elements and the message that potentially Kubrick may or may not have tried to be giving to us. This is what I'm going to be calling a tinfoil hat kind of crackpot theory that some people are going to hate and some people are going to be like, okay, that's interesting. While this is going to be something that I've never done before, I hope you enjoy the ride. So, if you've never seen Eyes Wide Shut before, this is basically the story of Bill Harford as he finds out that his wife Alice has admitted to having a sexual fantasies about a man she met. Bill becomes obsessed with having a sexual encounter himself. He discovers an underground sexual group and attends one of their meetings and quickly discovers that he is in over his head. Right, that does not exactly represent Christmas whatsoever, but this is what I'm saying to you. Christmas is not the time of year that everybody thinks it is. It is a stressful time, it's a depressing time, it is a time for reflection, it is a time for us to rebuild ourselves and talk to the people that we love. Christmas for me is not always the glitz and glamour that I want it to be, but for myself personally, I try to overcome this and build myself into a festive mood, and it's today the 21st of December. I'm still not feeling festive or whatsoever. And going back to Eyes Wide Shut kind of really builds a message to me, and a message that I want to share with you right now. So, in the opening shot of this film, we actually see Bill and Alice get ready to go to the Ziegler party. We are looking at a very beautiful home, well decorated, beautiful paintings, beautiful Christmas tree, everything that you would expect from a wealthy, rich family that really have established themselves within society. But this is actually a fake facade. Bill and Alice have kind of forgotten this idea of communicating and sharing how they are feeling with each other. And this builds into a kind of pressure cooker that explodes eventually during a session of smoking pot. And as we see this, we actually introduce to Helena. Helena is their daughter, and she is dressed up as an angel. And coincidence or not, as I know it's Christmas, I feel like Helena is kind of the symbol of Christmas for me. Children are pure. They are what make Christmas something worth going for. I don't have children myself, but my friends' kids, my niece, I love to see their faces at the Christmas time because they give me that joy that I used to have. For that 1 second, I can feel the festivity and the joy within me. And I think Helena is that. But also, what I'm trying to say is, Helena is this guardian angel that kind of travels through Bill's Odyssey, through Eyes Wide Shut. And this came to me while I was watching a video from a YouTube channel called Creative Learning, and this was a couple of years ago while I've been doing research for my PhD. And in this video, he basically talks about the lens flare that we see in Eyes Wide Shut, but he coincides this with the idea of over the rainbow and where the end of the rainbow is, because it's a very heavy kind of idea. But my kind of elevation of this idea is that Helena, the angel, the spirit of Christmas, this pure essence, is kind of following Bill within the journey. I'm not saying this is Helena in general, but this is kind of her spirit and kind of this conscience that Bill has on his back, because he is a father and a husband. And these lens flares turn up in various parts of the film, mainly, and as again pointed out in the Creative Learning video, we see it when he gets pushed by the university students, we see it when he meets Domino, And then again, when he goes back to Domino's apartment, but she's not there, and the roommate is there, and we find out that she actually has HIV. In these moments, Bill has choices. Bill has the choice to ignore, to fight against the students, but he chooses not to. He pushes back. And then this next challenge comes then. We see this again with Domino. The lens where when it turns up, he gets the choice to pay to have sex. This is kind of the encounter that pushes him to eventually not do it after he gets the phone call from Alice. This is kind of the test. This is the morality that we see throughout the film. And as we obviously go then to the jazz bar and he meets his old buddy, he then gets the invite to the party. And we know what party we are talking about. This party really is the point of no return for Bill, because Bill now has this kind of mammoth task to try and get away with not being identified. And once he's kicked out of the party for obvious reasons, I don't really want to talk about the orgy party at all, really. I just want to make observations of this Odyssey as we go along. Once he has left, this paranoia driven is kind of building and building and building. And then Bill eventually, when he is kind of confronted by Ziegler, we see a change in him and this kind of idea of he actually needs to talk to Alice. When he gets home eventually, we see him on the bed and he is crying his eyes out, and he is a broken man. Men are not always known for sharing their feelings, and especially men, I would say in the 90s, it wasn't exactly normal. And I think Bill and Alice finally connected within this moment. He is broken, he is shaken, and he has seen the error of his ways. I think this kind of spirit of Christmas is really built into him. And we see this through the whole of Eyes Wide Shut. The Christmas trees, the music, everything makes him think of what he has in the end. And at times you have to be at your lowest to build up. And I think that kind of spirit of Christmas is kind of driving him. This is what we see in It's a Wonderful Life. Eventually we see James Stewart. He really sees that he needs to live and live for his family. And I think Bill's journey is equally as inspiring. But I think you really have to build into the layers of this film to truly see this. But within this contextual narrative, this is what I get from it. It is an odyssey that truly takes you back to what you live for and what you're trying to achieve. And if you need to fix something, you have to fix it. And I love this idea of it. But let's go back now to the scene where they are actually smoking pot, because I think this is the eruption and kind of the building of Bill's journey through Eyes Wide Shut. They are truly not happy, and once she starts sharing about this sexual fantasy that she's had, you can sense the anger that he has, because he thinks that women don't think like this, and he generally believes that he is the only person Alice ever thinks of. And I found that to be crazy, because we all have our ideas of a perfect world for ourselves. We have the idea of the perfect partner, and at times we can hate each other. This is true. There is no point denying this. And for me, looking at this, divorce is at its highest around winter time, especially in the UK. We see this quite often. Separation happens and then the divorce eventually follows it. I think Bill and Alice were at the verge of separation. There is too much stress. We can see this with Alice. Her gallery broke down. She was dancing with another man at Ziegler's party and was tempted. She considered it because she was admired. And we see this with Bill also. When he is at Ziegler's party, he is with two models. And that temptation is there for him. But because of the kind of idea of being in a marital relationship, they stop themselves. And that is control, I think. And truly actually knowing deep down that you are meant to be for each other. And I think that is quite beautiful. But I think Kubrick does it in a way where we consider it to be something a lot more sinister. And from this then, this wild, thrilling odyssey begins. Talking about the festive elements of Eyes Wide Shut, Now let's think about this sense of Christmas. Christmas is not really talked about in this film whatsoever. The only time Christmas is brought up is about wrapping gifts or what Helena wants. Helena goes to the toy shop, we see them wrapping up gifts. Bill just tries to stay away from wrapping in general, just like me. I hate wrapping, I am terrible at wrapping. But anyway, this kind of sense of the fake facade of Christmas, it is a consumerist holiday now. I don't personally feel like Christmas is what it was when I was a child. And I don't feel like it was when my mother was a child or my grandparents. It is a time of buying. And I think it perfectly encapsulates this within going to the toy shop. And I think this Odyssey kind of comes to an end once we get here because they are talking. And I think Helena, the angel, has done her job. But I just want to kind of go away from this for 2 seconds because there is a discussion about Helena and when she disappears and the two old men follow her. Right, so within layman's terms, I just personally think that they would not talk about sex and their relationship in front of their child anyway. And in all honesty, I think Kubrick just does this in a way to make sure that it is just a one-on-one confrontation, and that's why she just leaves the frame. There is nothing more to it. It's very simple, and you just wouldn't want a child to hear it. So I think that's what it is. But for me, Eyes Wide Shut is one of those Christmas films that I go back to every year. I have grown a lot of respect for it over the last few years, and I truly think that it is a very unique and interesting journey that you should look at and kind of analyze it yourself. While my ideas are not fully cooked or fully formed, it's something that I'm going to build on. And I think this is why I wanted to make this video, just because I can look back, reflect on it, and actually delve deeper into the idea of Eyes Wide Shut and to see why Eyes Wide Shut is a Christmas Odyssey. I just want to thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, please let me know in the comment section below what you truly think of Eyes Wide Shut and of any of the Christmas iconography that you see in it. What do you actually see to be a Christmas narrative within the film? This is just my opinion, and this is something I just wanted to share with you because this is a safe space. So please join me next time when I will be talking about my top 25 films of 2020, and I hope you're having a relaxed couple of days before Christmas and you're taking care of each other, particularly after these massive changes that we've had in the UK over the last couple of days. It's kind of shaking us all, and I'm always here to talk to anyone if you ever want to talk. My details are below, so like, share, subscribe, do as you please. And as we normally say on this channel, diolch, dank, obrigado, merci beaucoup, arigato, dankeschön, bitteschön, all the shuns. And obviously, no change. Fidelio.